I'm Scotty Smith, and this is USL Quick Strike. Well, we're going to have an abbreviated version of the Quick Strike this week, and that's okay because FC Cincinnati has already wrapped up the regular season championship. I kind of like what they did here. It was either FC Cincinnati or the USL, but somebody was responsible for putting a platform out there on the field and letting the guys jump around like they had just won the Champions League. Kudos to whoever's decision that was. I'm all for it. I might make the slight change of calling it USL Champions instead of USL Regular Season Champions, but of course, if the East does not play the West, I guess it's pretty hard to do that. The West guys could argue, well, we were in a more competitive conference, which was true at the top, but nobody was competitive with FC Cincinnati this year. They deserve to have champions at the bottom of that platform. And then you would make the USL Cup trophy USL Cup champions. What's wrong with that? USL champions, USL Cup champions. After all, they are now the championship. In fact, even now, when a YouTube video pops up saying, watch this USL game, it does not say USL any longer. It says USL Championship, which is a bit confusing when you first look at it. You're like, wait a minute, is it already time for the championship? We'll get used to it. Louisville City is in second place based on goal differential. Pittsburgh Riverhounds are right behind them. They have the same amount of points and the same amount of games, but Louisville has scored 7 more goals. It'll be interesting to see down the stretch which one of those two teams play for the second or third seed. They may end up playing each other in the second round. It certainly looks that way right now. Charleston Battery is in 4th place in the East on 53 points. Indy 11 is in 5th place on 48. Bethlehem Steel, 6th place. Ottawa Fury is temporarily in 7th place, even though they only have 1 more point than North Carolina FC and Nashville FC. Both of those teams have 2 games in hand over Ottawa Fury, so it's not looking good for the Fury making USL Cup. Red Bull Reserves are in 10th place on 43 points. They've still got a shot. Tampa Bay Rowdies has an outside shot on 40 points. They are in 11th place. I want to pause right there and talk about the Tampa Bay Rowdies because, man, have they ever been the talk this week. The Tampa Bay Rowdies have been purchased by Major League Baseball's Tampa Bay Rays. Bill Edwards, seeing the writing on the wall that he was not getting an MLS team, decided, I'm out, at least in the majority of the operations there. He will still be involved with the team, it looks like, in some capacity. And that's pretty interesting. But this has set off the inevitable storm, if you will, on hashtag soccer Twitter. Many people are speculating, worrying, even freaking out that the Tampa Bay Rowdies may leave St. Pete and saying, God forbid, a USL team play in a baseball stadium. But it looks like there's a clause in the contract that Tampa Bay Rowdies have to stay in St. Pete for 5 more years, which will be fantastic because at least during those 5 years, Al Lang will still be above water. After that, well, nobody really knows what's going to happen. Apparently, the Rays are trying to build a stadium elsewhere, and could the Rowdies move in there? Possible. It'll be interesting to watch. The consensus among people who seem to be in the know is that this is a good thing for the Rowdies, considering the resources that the Rays seem to have. And only time will tell, but there's been more positive than negative in the last, we'll give it 24 hours. Man, those first 24 hours, though, there were some people really, really freaking out. Well, the Charlotte Independence is in 12th place. They don't look like they'll be making the playoffs this year. Penn FC is out. Atlanta United 2 out. Richmond Kickers out. TFC 2 really out. In the West, Orange County is on 63 points. However, Phoenix Rising on 62 has a game in hand. Advantage Phoenix Rising. And it'll be interesting to see what happens down the stretch as we only have for Orange County 2 more regular season games, for Phoenix Rising 3 more regular season games. Sacramento Republic is in 3rd place on 56 points. Salt Lake Reserves, they've dropped back a little bit after leading the West for most of the year. They're in 4th place on 54 points. Portland Reserves remain in 5th, and Reno 1868 right there with them in 6th. They both have 52 points. It's been that way for a while. KC Reserves have 50 points. St. Louis FC looks like they're kind of locking in that 8th spot a little bit, but San Antonio FC still has a say in that. They're only 3 points back in the 9th position. OKC is on 42 points, followed by Colorado Springs, Galaxy Reserves, Fresno, RGV, Las Vegas, Tulsa, and Seattle Reserves. I'm going to give you 3 games to watch this weekend. Actually, let's make it 4. In that Saturday at 6 o'clock time spot, you're going to have your choice between 2 teams who are trying to lock up that 8th and final spot in the Eastern Conference. Nashville is playing Richmond. Nashville trying to lock up a spot in USL Cup. North Carolina FC is playing Red Bull Reserves. North Carolina trying to lock up that 8th and final spot. It's possible that both of these teams will make USL Cup, much to the detriment of Ottawa Fury. In fact, you could be looking at the 7th and 8th place teams in those 2 matches Saturday at 6 o'clock Memphis time. At 7:30 Memphis time, San Antonio FC, still desperately trying to get into that 8th and final USL Cup spot in the West, will be taking on Las Vegas Lights. And Phoenix Rising, looking to jump up into that number 1 seed, they take on Reno 1868 at 9:30 Saturday night, Memphis time. That's plenty of stuff to watch. As always, you can stream all of these games on ESPN Plus or wherever you illegally stream USL matches. That's it for this edition of USL Quick Strike. Enjoy your soccer, everybody.